Howdy, howdy. We are live. Sorry, I'm just realized I didn't have my microphone in the right place, but y'all can probably hear me. But hi, we're live. Happy Comic Con day. Even though we're
Woo!
not, none of us are there, but that's okay. We still have plenty of fun, great news to talk about. But yeah, it's a very, very exciting day. Got a surprise episode drop. Got some trailers. Got all kinds of fun stuff to talk about. And I have Aaron here
Hello.
who is actually very involved with Star Trek the animated series. One of the things we're going to be
Yes.
talking about. So
I just realized I was in a different chat room altogether from a YouTube channel. I was like, wait, why is nobody here? It's like, oh, okay.
oh yeah, we have
Uh,
Benginium,
yes,
Jill,
everybody's here. I think I popped
Galen,
up with the something for later.
but hi, Cake is Eternal.
Good to see everybody.
But yeah, it's I'm glad that people were able to join us on an
Yes.
impromptu stream. Like, well, I guess I did advertise this one ahead of time a little bit, but about that, yeah, we got another
But it's
stream
still a
coming
Saturday.
tomorrow. Yeah, we got
Yeah.
a Sunday first reactions to today's surprise episode, and I think that's gonna be a lot of
Woo.
fun. You know, have people like had time to watch the episode. It's out. It's on Paramount Plus. But yeah, you can go watch. I'm not telling anyone to leave, but
Yeah.
you can watch those old scientists now. One of the most
We'll try our best not to like quote anything.
yeah. We should probably avoid spoilers for. But you mean tomorrow we'll talk about it with the first reaction stream, and
We'll
then
obey
Monday the
little
deep
time
dive
direct.
discussion. But yeah, so let's just start off, talking about some of the fun stuff from San Diego Comic Con. We had several panels and stuff going on. Sorry, I've been trying to make notes on everything and get slides of all the trailers and clips, and I'm still getting my notes and everything in order. But so what do we got here? So yeah, they had they kind of looked like they combined. We figured out that I guess they combined their IDW Star Trek comics
Yeah.
panel with their animation celebration panel Friday.
I'm assuming that was probably because of all the changes that happened because of the writer strike and the
Yeah,
actor
it's just,
strike.
and yeah, they couldn't have those people present, and
Yeah.
they couldn't do anything Prodigy related because
Yeah.
whoops. So I mean, yeah, I'm sure there was some last minute shuffling, but I'm glad they were still able to put some cool stuff together. But yeah, we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to talk about the Star Trek Universe panel that happened today. That's where we had a trailer
Yes.
for Lower Decks. We're going to break down. There's a trailer for the Strange New Worlds musical. There was a clip from Discovery.
Discovery.
So yeah, lots going on there, and let me get my slides pulled up. But Aaron, I know I already know the answer, I think, but just for everyone else, go ahead. What was kind of the highlight out of San Diego for you? I know it's the
What?
Lower Decks trailer and the
Oh, you mean today? Or are you talking about today, or just overall?
well, sure, like the whole thing.
Well, I mean,
What?
personally, it's just like I was excited that I got to work on some stuff that actually got made and was there. I did some pins. I did. It was basically they have a TAS panel, which sort of was TAS. Apparently, it's like more really lower decks and other things than the animated series, just animation in general. Like I said, there's just a lot of like weird changes because of just the issues with the writer strike and the actor strike. But so I got to I was asked like, hey, do you want to design a pin for Comic-Con? I'm like, yeah. It's like by the end of the day. I'm like, okay. Which is like, so the first one, the one with Kukulkan, that with the 50, that was done fairly quickly. But the badge is actually something, and this is a mock-up from 2019. Was based on the delta that we had in our animated series book. So it's now become there it is. Yes, that's now become the official Starfleet Delta for the animated series, and it's the only delta that's allowed to be tilted.
Yeah,
All the
because
other
that's
ones
how
have to go
they
straight up and down.
that's how they appeared in the show. Sometimes they
Yep.
the badges kind of moved around. They kind of changed shape a little bit. There's some
In the character models, they're all at an angle, so it's like they the ones that where they drew, where they took time and did it on purpose, they were sort of canted a little bit.
Yeah, but that's so awesome to see. Like, I just because I know Aaron and I talk to him every day or almost every day, and just it was
I
exciting for
bug
me
you
to
every
just
day with
to
messages.
just to hear him say stuff like, "Oh, I'm working on like cool stuff I can't talk about
Yeah.
yet, but it's gonna be really cool." And just so I was looking forward to finally seeing what some of this stuff is, and I understand there's still more surprises for the animated series, this 50th anniversary celebration. It's really cool that TAS, and I think this was a sheer coincidence. There's no way that NBC scheduling programming people were even thinking of this in 1973. Just we lucked out. The animated series has happened to premiere on the same date as the original series.
No, I think they did try and do that.
They did that
From
on
what I
purpose?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so. Yeah.
But I mean, like, they didn't. It was still a Saturday, right? Like, they didn't like drop it on
Yes.
like a different. So they didn't have to go
No, I
like
mean
that
it
far.
lucked out. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So
It's
yeah,
mainly like picking the week, and it probably was going to be a week
right.
in September, anyways, because it's television. So,
It's
but
probably one of those things where it's like, yeah, we because I think that came out. I'm trying to remember if it was out like an actual a week earlier than most cartoons or not something. So I think they did. I would have to ask Fred Bronson, who was actually part of the what is it, advertising and not advertising, promotional stuff that he worked on.
promotional.
He's also he wrote The Game and Menage a Troy, as well as the Counterclock incident from the last episode of TAS.
I'm a big fan of the game. He was the youngest writer to ever write Star Trek, right? When he
No, that was
oh
Howard Weinstein at the
okay,
time.
I got him mixed. Well, but he's
Yeah.
he's still a young dude. Like he was pretty young when he was writing the animated series, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's not that much older than I
Not a
am.
young
So.
dude now.
No, but
50 years ago he was young.
right. And what's interesting about TAS and how we ended up getting a lot more stories, I think, than we could have to if we were just trying to do TOS, which is just a few years before that, is that so many people involved in animation were young. They're like in their 20s. So, they're only in their 60s now, a lot of them.
Yeah,
or
a lot of them are
70s.
still around. You
Yeah.
talked to a lot of them for the
Yeah.
book a few years ago.
Unfortunately, some of them have have passed during the time that we were interviewing people and stuff like that. We lost a couple of the writers, and Dorothy passed away. But after we interviewed her, so
Ben Ginium is saying he'd kill for the 50-year pin, the Kukulkan one.
yeah, I don't know that. I know it came out specifically at that panel, and I don't know if what they're going to do with them. There's a possibility that if they have leftovers, they'll take them to like New York Comic Con, I guess, or maybe they'll sell them. I honestly, I cannot tell you because I don't know. I know they were selling it online. It was on eBay for $150, but that whole thing is just gone. It's no, don't take a life for this pin. It was actually supposed to be. It's weird. We don't know if it was something that they did on their end or what, but it's more gold, the 50, because like
Yeah.
the 50th is gold, and it ended up being a little bit more orange than gold, but it still looks good.
And our friend Rachel was saying a lot of pins they kind of come off as more like a goldy orangey color than yellow. So maybe that's just kind of
Yeah.
standard, just like the whatever they use to manufacture these things. But
And I think the Delta
it was
was
a
so
real cool
yellow
idea.
because it was yellow. I mean, it's very,
Yeah,
the
it's not
color.
gold. It's yellow.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting and this is part of what I'm doing that I don't think I can actually go into, but I did find online on eBay the color sheet like that had like the numbers and link to all of the colors for the outfits and everything for the actual paint that you would buy for their cells. But I'm like, oh, that's cool, but that doesn't really do me any good because I don't know what, they're like a number that goes to some paint swatch that doesn't exist anymore. But I had a friend who worked at Filmation. He worked on He-Man, and their sheet didn't change over the years. So he sent
they
it to
still
me, and I
have
was able to,
the old code base. It was like the Rosetta Stone
exactly, yeah,
of old school animation.
And sadly, the company that sold the paint for years and years went out of business last year. So I just missed by like that much being able to go in and actually talk with them and get an actual physical swatch. But it was very cool because so now it's like that yellow is very yellow. So the badge is supposed to be seen at a distance, I think, and that's part of and the rank stripes were the same color as well.
Well, TAS wasn't the only animated Star Trek that got some spotlight Friday. Although I guess it was kind of the the main star. But they that panel that took place Friday. I mentioned this a little bit on the Tex-Trek show Friday night. But John Van Citters, I think he started the panel off. He opened it by basically saying, "Don't worry about Prodigy. I promise we're still making sure that it's going to get finished and find a home somewhere." And they're now officially confirming what already leaked, what we already knew is happening September 26th, but the Blu-ray release of episodes 11 through 20. And what the new information we got is that in some overseas markets that still hadn't gotten episodes 1 through 10 on Blu-ray, they're actually lucking out, in my opinion. They're getting a better deal, like in Germany and in the UK. They're getting all 20 in one box set.
Oh, that's nice.
And that'll come out a day earlier on the 25th. Or I think in the UK it's the 25th, and I think in Germany it might be October or something, but it's around the same time as the 26th, so they'll have it as well.
And related to the release in America, if you pre-ordered it, go back in and check your pre-orders because they've like changed the date or something like that. So you like if you ordered it from Target, you have to go you have to confirm that yes, I accept the new delivery date. The new delivery date is 2099. I'm sure they did that so they couldn't miss that date. So it's like, you've only got like a few decades to wait.
I pre-ordered it on Target's site, so I guess I need to do that. So that's homework
go
for
check
me.
that out. But Rachel and I were doing that like online together, and we're just like, wait, what? 2099?
Jill in the live audience is asking about the special features on episodes 1 through 10, and there are some, but I haven't. I own those. I haven't watched them yet, but I
literally just put them in last night and did not get a chance to actually watch because I was going to try and say like, what are those special features so we could kind of compare them to what we might get. But
there's some on these discs. There's 3 little short little featurettes that total to like 45 minutes. They said over 45 minutes, so it's probably like 40. This sounds like a joke, but seriously, it's probably like around like 47 minutes total. So somewhere between 45 and an hour, I guess. But yeah, so there's like one's about like creating the different environments. One's about just, writing episodes 11 through 20, stuff like kind of like basic, DVD features. But I really enjoyed that stuff. And the only reason why I haven't watched the first census, I haven't had time yet, but I plan to. But yeah, I was happy about that. And then there was some announcements I wasn't expecting, some comic book stuff tying into the animated Star Trek.
Oh, there's something related to that before. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, about the Prodigy thing?
No, I didn't know if we were going to go past it. The shorts as well.
Yeah. Let's talk about those in a second. But just before that, we got to talk about like this weird comic that to me it seems strange. It's very much it's the gold key art style. So it's like the 60s, they're kind of comical now to look at how inaccurate they are. I mean, here's a great depiction of it. There's like fire coming out of the nacelles on the Enterprise, like they're rockets with like burning rocket fuel and shooting out fire. Like that was
comic
a thing
book cover that I did
kind of
made. Yeah, I did an homage to that when I did the what's her face was imagining the Enterprise as a little car, kind of like in what is it? Calvin and Hobbes. He has this little spaceship. It was sort of that on the cover of that comic book. I put flames on mine because of as an homage to this. But this isn't TAS. That's what's weird.
Right? Yeah. Everything about it is gold key. I guess it's TAS characters. I see Imress.
Yeah.
She didn't exist in gold, but
no.
Maybe it's like maybe like the script makes sense for TAS, but then like the artist was like, I've never seen the show, but I've read the Gold Key comics. I'm just gonna draw that. So I don't know if that's what happened.
I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut.
Well, that might be for the best.
It's not what we expected it would be. So let's put it that way.
I see it's the I know it's Lou is the first name, but Scheimer. How do you say his last name? Scheimer.
Lou
okay.
Scheimer. Yeah.
Yeah. I see that
the Scheimer barrier
a lot more.
Yeah.
I think you're the only person I've ever actually heard say Lou Scheimer's name out loud. I normally I normally like read it in your book, but I love him getting some recognition.
Yeah, no, that's very cool.
He was like the head man of Filmation, right? That was his thing. That was his baby. He accepted Star Trek's first Emmy.
Yeah, it was actually supposed to be him and who's the other person?
Was it Dorothy?
The little spinning lick at the end. No. It's Lou and the two people who are actually the head of Filmation, kind of together.
Oh,
wow. I should know this. It's been a long weekend. Anyway, he basically had, the story goes that they were told that Captain Kangaroo won, that they did not win. There was no reason he was going to have to get up and give a speech or anything. So he got hammered, like completely.
Hal Sutherland. Hal
Sutherland. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Director of season 1 of the animated series.
Correct. But he also did, he was very much part of Filmation. And he, basically, if you watch the video of him accepting the Emmy, basically there's like a pretty lady who, they take people on stage, but she's literally like supporting him because he was going to fall over. He was like so out of it. But he didn't remember to mention Hal at all. And that became something that became a big sticking point in their relationship, like all the way till their later years. I think when somebody was on their deathbed, kind of a thing. So
that's sad.
Yeah,
but on a happier note,
yes.
we're getting the.
But they did make up. So.
Okay, that's good. We're getting the return of animated series style Star Trek. They're going to do these little short, and the comic is a free thing too. The comic is going to be on StarTrek.com, which is good because I don't.
You don't want to buy this?
Yeah, I don't know, but
it could be free comic book day. That would be kind of cool.
And they are giving away a printed version of it at New York Comic Con in October, but it's going to be released online as as 4 6-page, I guess, parts of a story. Or maybe they're all like little short 6-page stories. I don't know. And they're also doing these promos. They're calling them promos. So these aren't short treks. These aren't episodes. I don't think it's meant to be taken like seriously, or they're kind of like silly little things. Yeah, it's
more like a Adult Swim commercial or something like that. Remember when they would do like the Super Friends would be talking to like Scooby-Doo or whatever, they would kind of like match that. It's more like that, I think.
And that's the guy that they brought in to work with a lot of this stuff, Casper Kelly. He's an Adult Swim. I was just looking at some of his work. He directed the Too Many Cooks short, which is extremely weird. I can't even describe it. Just Google it if you want to know what it is, if you haven't heard of it. But yeah, Too Many Cooks. He directed that. So he's definitely really into absurdist humor, I guess.
There was a picture that showed a guy on the bridge who had a head that looked like a screw. So I'm assuming that that's his influence.
Whatever that was. Like, I didn't even want to. I didn't even want to show that here because I can't comprehend that.
Before you change this, I'm hoping that this is an homage and not just a mistake with the graphic. But if you look at if you look at Quark, his blue shirt is not there. And that happened a lot in TAS when they had a lot of animation going. They would have to leave a layer out because otherwise they couldn't move something else, or it would just be forgotten, which is possible. So I'm hoping that's a nod to it. But if it had to be, it's like somebody made a mistake. Yeah, I can't see it going through as many people as it has to go through before anybody sees it, and nobody noticing that. Not noticing that.
But it's cool. They said that they're going to have Armin and Jonathan Frakes, and there's a Saru one, so Doug Jones. They didn't say Ethan Phillips' name, but I'm sure that Ethan Phillips will be voicing Neelix. Like, I can't imagine Ethan... They called up Ethan Phillips, and he was like, I'm too busy. I'm not going to do your little 30-second promo thing. Fuck you, Star Trek.
They've taken... James Doohan and put him into an AI and then made that AI talk like Neelix.
Oh, well, I mean, James Doohan was like the man.
That would be hilarious.
I want to say he was like the man of 1,000 voices, but honestly, he was like the man of like a dozen voices. I mean, like he had a few he could like rotate through, but if you watch all of the animated series, you're going to hear every voice James Doohan can do. But
a couple of them are like, if you at first don't really pay attention, you're like, you can hear it as a different voice, but then that will come back later as somebody very similar.
They even got the badges right on these dudes. If you look at well, I guess Saru has his kind of more traditional, but I love Saru. It just looks so good in like TAS style. It's like
he's very Eric's
they did his face.
He's got the same kind of folds and stuff.
Eric's always amazes me that they would do that design because, animation, you always want to keep things simple because they're like, I have to draw this from every angle, so I want things to be kind of smooth.
Yeah, trust me, I've known how that's been going. And there are some angles that are not attractive on Eric's. Like, oh no, don't show that.
Yeah, he's kind of I don't know, it has a dreadful face,
Like
unfortunately,
in
but
certain angles, it's very like demonic almost. It's just sort of
yeah.
like, oh, I don't want to see him in a dark alley.
Yeah, he would be terrifying if he existed in live action. Um, maybe they'll pull off a live action Dojin
Oops, sorry. I think my
someday.
headphones died.
Um,
Keep
but
talking.
yeah, so cool to have some animated series stuff, some stuff going on for the 50th anniversary for Star Trek Day, and they also said that we don't know much about this, but in addition to those promos coming out Star Trek Day, Lower Decks is going to be shown in theaters, so
Yeah,
that's
that'll be fun.
exciting. I don't know
Yeah.
whether I don't know if they're taking something from season 4 and putting that in theaters. I don't know if it's like to me it would kind of make sense to run their two Crisis
They're-
Point episodes, you know.
Oh, that would be cool to see those as movies, like in a big theater. Yes, I would. I would go. I'd be up for that.
I mean,
If not,
'cause
they need to. Mike needs to listen like that. Do that.
it needs to be something, you know, it can't just be like one little 22-minute episode,
Right.
you know. They got
Well, if it could be like at the premiere that they did for like season 2, we saw the first 2 episodes.
oh,
Maybe do it that way.
you know what it might be? Because they're premiering the show a little later than normal. Not surprising. There's no Prodigy this year on
Right.
Paramount Plus, so I was kind of expecting
probably
them
stretching
to
things
kick
out
it
as
back.
much as
Yeah,
they can.
exactly. But it's premiering the week of Star Trek Day, September 7th. And they're dropping 2 episodes on September 7th, which they
Then I
normally
bet
don't
that's it
do.
then.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it'll probably be that in theaters. But you and I were talking off camera earlier today, and we both were thinking, oh, it's a good idea that they're giving Lower Decks a lot of exposure, especially in like the post cancellation of Prodigy that none of us were expecting. It's good to see like they're really trying
Yeah.
to push Lower Decks and make sure the show is out there and can find its audience, which I applaud.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's doing well. It's probably one of their best bets for like a wide variety of people to see it. So, I mean, you're getting people who are not interested in Star Trek but have watched all of the stuff that Mike has worked on with like Solar Opposites and Rick and Morty and that kind of stuff. Then you have people who love Star Trek, and then you've got like just people who like animation, and so I think there's a couple different things that play into that.
Yeah, I mean, the live action Star Trek shows have gotten a lot of attention. Discovery and Strange New Worlds and Picard, especially this last season of Picard,
Yeah.
they're all like the best, most watched things, like the best ratings that Paramount Plus gets. That and like their Yellowstone spinoffs that are really popular. So Lower Decks doesn't seem to be performing on that same level, which makes sense. You know, like animation typically it's not gonna have like the same penetration.
Right.
Just a lot of people just don't watch cartoons. So I am
Yeah.
happy to see them like being like, no, Lower Decks is a good show. It's a good product. We like it. We believe in it. We have faith in it. We're going to continue to push it and try to help it, you know, get that popularity, which is fun to see. And this comic coming out that they announced Friday, the Warp Your Own Adventure comic. It sounds really fun. It's like a choose your own adventure.
Like a choose your own
thing.
adventure. Yeah.
Yeah. Or there's also like in the 90s, the Goosebump books got real popular.
Oh, yeah.
Like when I was a kid.
Yep.
And then they started doing these give yourself goosebumps where you could, you know, decide what the characters do and stuff. But
It's everything but not called choose your own adventure, so they didn't have to pay money for them.
well, this is called Warp Your Own Way. So,
Yeah.
but it is made by the people who did the previous Lower Decks comics at IDW. It's written by Ryan
Okay.
North with art by
Phil Murphy.
Chris Finoglio.
Oh, right. Sorry. Yes.
Who he does a pretty good job of like capturing the animation style that I read that 3-issue mini. I actually didn't read the third one. I need to get around to finishing that, but I was pretty impressed with how like his stuff really matches up with what Titmouse does in the show. So
Yeah.
yeah, so looking forward to that. Something like a little interactive, and it's kind of like a video game, but you read it as a comic book, but you still get to like make the choices and stuff. And Heather Antos, the IDW editor, who we've actually have interviewed on Tex-Trek, but she was making it sound like, yeah, like there's, you know, one way to like get through it and survive, and there's like a lot of ways to lose. So to me, like that adds like a video game, you'd call it replayability, but I guess with like a comic, like rereadability to it. So
Or it's like Clue, the movie, where it's like all the different endings.
oh
you
yeah,
know?
it's just try to get like the different endings.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was cool. And then like your pins that they had available.
I'm just
And
excited that I've made an official Delta. It's like that's just very cool.
yeah, that
I
needs
feel
to
like a
be
little
like
kid.
that needs to be like merch you can go to like StarTrek.com and buy.
Yeah, I'm hoping that like Fansets pick this up or something. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I believe this was done. Well, I don't know if it's done by anybody specific person. It's at um, the Hero Within booth. If you're in San Diego, I think they have them there.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's
Maybe they
there's
put the pin there too. The other pin, I don't know.
There's some other stuff going on besides like the two big panels that we're talking about. Yeah, they had like the interactive experiences. They had like that Paramount Lodge
Lodge.
bar, whatever that is.
That looked kind of cool.
Um, and there's a lot of not a lot, but there's a handful of smaller Star Trek related panels. Most of them have already occurred, but our friend Larry Nemechek is doing a panel tomorrow on Star Trek Picard and like rebuilding the Enterprise D bridge and that stuff. So if any of y'all are in San Diego at the con, then go check out Larry's panel tomorrow and tell him the Tex-Trek boys say hi and hope he's having a good convention. But
I've been on his panel quite a bit when I've been down there. It's like that's kind of like we've been default like there's me and Christine from Trek Movie and a couple other people. Or it's like we kind of we're the default group.
yeah, I before I knew y'all very well. I thought of Aaron Harvey and Larry Nemechek. They're like the Star Trek SDCC regulars. So
Yeah, he's Dr. Trek, and the joke was I was like nurse practitioner Trek or something like that. I'm just like the assistant Trek.
and then I guess today they must have like revealed this today with the surprise episode drop. So slight
Somebody actually
spoilers
posted it
for-
yesterday.
Oh, okay. Well, it
Yeah.
probably wasn't supposed to get posted yesterday, but the if you haven't watched, which is now on Paramount Plus, again, you can go run out and watch it now. I'm not telling anyone to leave, but just so you know, it is out there, and we're doing a first reaction stream tomorrow night and then a deep dive discussion stream Monday night. But those old scientists, Lower Decks, Strange New Worlds crossover, it's out, and this poster of Una and the Ad Astra per Aspera slogan appears in that episode, and you can get. Were they doing this as a poster, or is this a pin also?
I don't know, but I saw a photo version of this. Like they've recreated it with her. I don't know if somebody's done it or if it was done by Paramount, but she doesn't have a phaser in the photo because I think they're just using like stock images and the promotional photos that they've already taken. But I'm assuming that they're going to do both. Like, I hope this. I mean, if this becomes a poster, I bet the musical episode's gonna. I mean, those posters disappeared in like 2 seconds.
They were handing those out. Yeah, there was,
yeah.
Thousands of people running to the booth to grab their poster.
So I'm assuming that like that will give them some idea of like, oh, this is what we should put up for sale. I hope. I've never understood merchandising with companies and stuff like that. It's like I mean, Rachel and I've had that conversation on here several times of just like how many people would have bought so much Prodigy merch if it had actually come out when Prodigy first came out. That Christmas people would have bought so many cute Murph stuff.
Yeah, or if maybe they had like held the show till they had some of that stuff ready to go or something. I think they were trying to like push something out because COVID kind of like delayed production on Discovery, and they're like, if we don't have Star Trek, then all the Star Trek nerds are going to cancel Paramount Plus. And
well, yeah, Lower Decks came out sooner than they planned.
Yeah, because that show was able to adhere to the schedule during COVID, and nothing else in the television world was able to.
And they finished ahead of schedule in a couple of instances. So it's like
because it's supposed to be a fall premiere, and instead of they dropped it in August.
Yeah, they were definitely they're the poster child for getting their stuff done on time and on budget and all that.
Yeah, and I'm confident that they would have had season 4 ready to go in August this year. I think it was just the choice to push it back to September is just to kind of spread out the content a little bit.
Yeah. Maybe they'll bring Prodigy back. Who knows?
Let's talk about the Star Trek universe panel that happened today. So this is going to be the Discovery stuff, the Lower Decks season 4 stuff, and then the Subspace Rhapsody, the musical stuff. Before we switch to that, though, I just want to point out that there were no Star Trek actors at the Star Trek universe panel today. There were no Star Trek writers there. I don't know who was presenting this stuff.
Probably John. Just like
it was just
John
John
at every
Van Sitters,
panel.
Yeah. But Ethan Peck and Tawny Newsome posted a picture of the two of them picketing today on social media. So just a reminder
That
that
was cool.
the Star Trek talent that they create all this, everything you've ever enjoyed in Star Trek was only possible because of the people who come up with the stories and who present them, who act them, who do the special effects, who build the sets. So we always want to remember those people, and I hope that the actor writer strike results in them getting fair compensation for their good work, and they can resume making Star Trek for us.
I also give these people credit for it's hot everywhere in the United States really right now, but it's I think 97 degrees today was something like that, and I'm sure it feels warmer when you're like getting it reflected off the sidewalk. And if you've been following some of the stuff going on with the strike, Universal Studios, without getting permission from the city, cut down all of the trees branches on the place where they were picketing, so they have no shade anymore. So the city is looking into we didn't give you permission to do this, and they say, oh, we do this every summer, because we don't want it to have a lot of leaves when it becomes windy in the fall. I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's actually true. But okay. But yeah, that seems like it's just, somebody said, he's like, how much more, cartoonish supervillain can they be? It's just like.
No, it's pretty terrible. But yeah, so I mean, hopefully this we get a good result out of it.
That's Burbank, by the way. That was the Disney studio.
Oh yeah, Walt Disney Company. Everyone's in Burbank because that's where Warner Brothers is, and Disney's there, and I don't. Where's the Comcast Universal, but wherever they were cutting the tree.
Yeah, I think that's
branches.
closer to Hollywood. I think I'm trying to remember where that is. It's but they're between Burbank and North Hollywood, I think. I'm gonna look that up now because now you're like, wait a second, I don't remember.
All right, you look that up while you're looking into that. I'm gonna talk about the Star Trek Discovery Season 5 clip. I don't know if this was confirmed, but I'm very confident this is going to be from the Season 5 premiere. It just seems like an introduction for some of these characters and concepts, kind of set up the plot. We don't know a ton. Basically, this doesn't give us a lot of new information. I guess there's a couple of new things we can glean from this, but basically the story of what they've told us about Season 5, and I have a official description here that I can read. The 5th and final season will find Captain Burnham and the crew of the USS Discovery uncovering a mystery that will send them on an epic adventure across the galaxy to find an ancient power whose very existence has been deliberately hidden for centuries. But there are others on the hunt as well, dangerous foes who are desperate to claim the prize for themselves and will stop at nothing to get it. So they've told us that these new characters that we have, Elias Tofexus, I guess is how you say this actor's name, but he's this alien dude named La'ak, and
that girl from what is it? Oh, never mind. I was trying to make a joke about Farscape. I can't remember her name, the character with the white hair and the.
Oh, I don't know Farscape. I only just caught a couple of episodes.
She has kind of that look
sci-fi.
To her.
It's on my list of shows I want to go back and watch someday. But it's one that I didn't see. But yeah, Eve Harlow is the name of the actor, and her character is called Maul. But they've been described to us as like a Bonnie and Clyde duo. They're going to be the main antagonist this season, and they said this is not going to be galactic stakes. This is going to be, I guess. The way they describe it is it's kind of like an action adventure chase kind of. Looks like kind of I don't know, kind of scavenger hunting. Like they're trying to deal with some ancient artifact. And
the clip looks very much like a video game actually. It's got that kind of feel to it.
It makes me think of that TNG episode, The Chase, where they're trying to unravel that ancient mystery. It kind of feels like they're going to take something like that and stretch it out for 10 episodes and. She's sort of like the Bonnie version of Nurse Chapel, a little bit. Kind of that look to her. Oh yeah, she could be like Mirror Universe Chapel, or like the Evil Chapel or something. Or I think in the anime world, I think they call it Nega to say the evil version of something. I've seen that
By the way,
Pilgrim and stuff.
I don't know why I didn't think like Universal Studios is at Universal City, which is just like
Oh,
it's between where I said and Hollywood, so it is there. It's where the Universal Studios, the ride, and all that stuff is. And this just came in 6 hours ago. The studio will be fined $250 for not getting the correct permit.
is that
That's
like the minimum?
apparently it's like it. No, it could go up to $1,000 if they do more research. Like that's just what? Why? It doesn't even make a difference at this point.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not going to bother them at all. But it's just, I guess, it's the optics of it. But still, it's just like. But at least they were fined. So yeah, they didn't. They definitely did not get permission.
Well, a slap on the wrist,
So,
but
yeah, that's not even
whatever.
a slap on the wrist. It's more like a slightly dirty look. It's just like.
But yeah, this thing that this chick Maul has in her hands, I guess that's like the artifact that they're chasing. They're talking to like Michael and Saru are talking. She says something about like something they get out of a vault, and she's telling these two, just like hand it over, and they're like, no, we're gonna not do.
Looks
what
like
you
they
tell
have
us.
portal technology from Picard, like turned
Right.
into a tiny little.
So it's like
disc.
they've miniaturized 25th century technology. It used to take like an entire ship to
Yeah.
do this, and then here it's like a handheld device. The stuff that they're doing in this clip, they're trying to go like really hard, like the action adventure spectacle, like the most grandiose possible effect sequences and stuff. It would
Yeah.
bother me if they were doing this if Discovery is still in the 23rd century. I think being in the 32nd century, I think it kind of gives
Yeah.
them a pass. Like, okay, the technology should be kind of just ridiculous.
Well, I was going to say this would actually be the perfect place to have life support belts that are in TAS because they kind of her suit is sort of like that. Like just goes on as she falls through out into space.
It looked cool, just like the way that like the functionality of it. It's
I mean, she should have been dead 3 times over, but
Yeah.
but yeah, like okay.
It's 32nd century technology.
Right,
It's
yeah.
like, okay, you can magnet onto a ship inside of a warp bubble, and I think one of the
I
exciting
didn't know he was
things,
still around. I still haven't seen the
yeah.
last season because I got derailed because of personal stuff, but I didn't realize that he would still be in this show.
Yeah, so Aaron, without you seeing season 4, but Cronenberg continues to play the character Kovic in kind of a support role in season 4, but he's typically not very active in the stories. He's more just kind of like the exposition guy.
Yeah, I've noticed that one. I've seen like a little bit of it.
I like the idea of him being on the ship and being part of the adventure, and he's actually in the season 4 finale. Which I know you haven't seen, but there's a very small setup for this where they're basically they're getting ready for like their big mission at the end of season 4, and Kovic is like, oh well, why all of you are doing that? I need to go deal with this other thing because there's this other grave matter that needs my attention. So and we never find out what that is. So I assume that's why he's
here.
He's here, yeah. Whatever he's doing here.
No, maybe he's setting up Section 31, the movie.
They're just going to do the setup for that, tie it all together.
Somehow.
There's some other new faces on the bridge.
I haven't seen this person before.
I think her name is Lieutenant Nia or something like that, and there's a Lieutenant Gallo.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so they're both new, but have
their
names.
uniforms look very smart. Like I feel like they finally settled into something that looks good.
Yeah, I had to see.
They were having problems with like the gray and the stuff that's kind of blended into the background. And
yeah, the gray uniforms made them look like Nazis. These uniforms bothered me when I first saw like pictures of them, but like when I saw them in motion in season 4, it kind of grew on me. So I'm okay with that. We also we don't see him, but we hear him. But this other Captain Rayner, who they showed him in like the previous trailer from last year's. I can't remember if it was Comic-Con or Star Trek Day, but I think he's supposed to be half Vulcan, but yeah, sounds like he clashes with Burnham a little bit. He's very out to get these bad guys, Maul and La'ak. So
I think this is, the difference between Discovery and like a Picard or even Strange New Worlds. It's like there's nothing that you can act like. I don't even know what that ship sort of looks like. I mean, I have a general idea of what the ship looks like, but it's just everything's just so blown out and streaky and just show the darn ship with like regular lighting.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe we'll see it before, but it's just like there's just so much movement and stuff.
yeah. Maybe
like,
when they get out of the warp field.
Yeah.
There's some interesting dialogue in there. He mentions something about when she says just drop out a warp and make the ship stop with your tractor beam. He says something like, maybe if we had a, let me check my notes and see what he says. A pathway drive. He says, if I had a pathway drive, maybe.
Oh yeah, I heard that. Like, what is that? I wonder.
Yeah, we're still making through with burn tech, so it must be some type of propulsion technology.
Maybe it's new, based off of the spore drive or something.
Yeah, maybe they found just because like the whole thing with like the burn was that like they lost their dilithium, so I guess they're trying to find other traveling methods that don't use dilithium. So I assume that's what it is. It was like a new technology or something.
The burn didn't like cause any kind of like. I know there was a couple places that had subspace that like couldn't be used anymore because of the tests that they were trying with different technology. But that's not pervasive,
Gorn,
is it?
The Gorn tore up subspace somewhere. But yeah, that was just they just mentioned that one time in season 3. I don't think it ever.
So I'm thinking if it was like pathway, it could be interesting where it's like somehow it takes you through that burnt up area, but still is able to get you through it.
Or maybe that's like portal technology also.
Oh, that could be. You just keep jump forward through the portal.
But yeah, at first I was watching this, I was like, I don't know, are they trying too hard with like the action spectacle? But I was like, well, it is 32nd century, and
yeah,
it is a pretty cool way to get to your captain's chair. But they end the sequence with like that ship gets away, but then like Michael flying towards the Discovery bridge and actually getting beamed in like just before she slammed into the bridge window. And without missing a beat, she just keeps walking. The suit powers back down, goes back into the belt, and she assumes her station in the captain's chair. I don't know. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
If someone thought it was
ridiculous,
trying too hard,
very cool.
I wouldn't blame you if that was your stance on it, but it worked for me.
I don't think it's trying too hard. It just feels very video game, like very.
It's very video game. It's very like Marvel. It's very like it looks like something Iron Man would do. You know.
Yep. 100%. Yep.
But if you're gonna do like the weird, I don't know, like hyper technology.
Yeah, I mean the fact that it's not piggybacking off of something else that we've seen 5 million times, so that's something nice about that.
It's definitely like unique for Star Trek, and the 32nd century should be different.
Yeah.
It should be unique to every. I mean, we've never gone 800 years. Yeah, with the rest of Star Trek is closer to modern day than it is to Discovery's time.
Yeah,
so
which is very strange.
It's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
I don't have anything. I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts on Discovery?
No, I need to catch up, but it's just like it looks like there's a fun element to it, at least. I mean, it feels like there's maybe a little bit of lightness, maybe because it's last season. I don't know, but it's just it doesn't feel quite as dire as some of the stuff has in the past. Yeah,
I feel like the show, like they don't want to do like miserable Michael Burnham anymore. It doesn't want to do like
well, it could still be serious. It just but yeah, it doesn't need to be Lower Decks.
yeah, it's not going to be as silly as Lower Decks. But I think it will be. It'll also have a bit more of a lighthearted tone than especially what we saw in like the first couple of seasons, and even like
when she was in that Orion, like it was a couple of years ago, where she was like drugged basically, or whatever.
Season 3,
yeah, like that. I mean, I could see like more of those sort of scenes. Yeah,
the funniest moment in that is when she was talking about like her reaction to this drug, and she was like, oh my god, I have a friend Tilly who cannot shut up. She must never have this drug. Like that was like the funniest thing, because it's like, oh yeah, like I know that character, she knows that character. It's kind of like that when like you're in on the joke with the characters, and I love when writing can pull that off.
There's a joke in Lower Decks that's kind of like that, related to tone, which I thought was not Lower Decks, but the Strange New Worlds crossover.
Oh yeah. I think I know what you're thinking about. But speaking of Lower Decks, let's talk about it. We got like a cool. This was not a surprise to anyone that they did a Star Trek 4
I literally
poster.
Started working on a design because I wanted to get it out before this one, and then I couldn't because I was actually working on animated series stuff.
I actually was expecting the Golden Gate Bridge to be on the poster,
especially because she mentions it like last year or last season or whatever. It's like what's the dumb the red bridge or whatever. It's like they don't even have cars anymore. It's like I like the bridge.
But yeah, we see and we'll talk about the trailer in just a second. So if anyone's eager for the trailer breakdown, it's
I
coming.
love how they did the
just one
circle.
moment.
I wondered how they were going to do that. Like, oh, it's the saucer section of the Cerritos.
Yeah. So who do we got here? Our leads, Boimler and Mariner, and then the Tindy, Rutherford, T'Lyn, pretty prominent. I hope that there's
cool.
a lot of T'Lyn, and
Yeah.
I want her to be as present as like Tindy and Rutherford are. Like I want her to be like the fifth main character.
Yeah.
I think there's
The
room for her.
Beatles, like the five of them.
It's something I remember the DS9 writers talked about, when they had to add Ezri in season 7, and they were like, that was actually kind of a gift in disguise, because, at this point we've done so many O'Brien stories, you've done so many Bashir stories, you've done so many Odo stories. It's like, here's a new character. We can do like a couple of Ezri episodes, and, they're going to be different from anything else, because we've never written this character before. So I feel like having T'Lyn on Lower Decks can also, like... There's like a finite number, like how many gags can you pull up, like with Rutherford or with Shax or with whoever. It's like
switch up the dynamics some too, possibly.
Yeah, and you give like a new character for other characters to bounce off of. Badgie and Agamus are both present. There's the.
Do we see
the
Peanut
ship.
Hamper anywhere there? Yeah, that ship looks vaguely familiar, and it's driving me crazy. And I'm thinking that I believe it's actually like a medical thing that they would put on the head for neural something from like TNG
from
or something.
Voyager.
Like that. That's not what it is. Maybe it's Voyager.
The Voyager doctor loved like putting shit on people's faces and sick bay.
It's not obviously not that it, but it's like I was like, why does this look familiar? Oh, it's probably because it's that.
Well, let's talk about like the trailer. It opens with the Cerritos being assigned to this mission. There's a ship going around blowing up a bunch of other ships.
I didn't even notice. I didn't read it.
Yeah. That's one of the victims of the baddie ship. This is probably Badgie. I think that's a safe bet. This is whatever happened at the end of season 3. There's that. If you keep watching past the end credits, Badgie survives from Rutherford's little implant, and he's rebuilt by the Borg or the Romulans or somebody has gotten him, and I think he's on the attack in this.
Maybe him and Peanut
season.
Hamper.
Yeah, I think it will be like an AI team up. Which is
AIs is the bad guys. That's kind of on brand for right now. Now I love that the Binar ship actually does look an awful lot like there's a ship in the Delta Triangle in the Time Trap, the TAS episode. And now I'm thinking my retcon is that that's actually just an older Binar ship.
It could be old Binar and the the Binar were active with Federation member worlds by then, because the Dr. Phlox mentions them in Enterprise, so they were.
Oh, that's right.
They were part.
It doesn't matter. It could still be like people that just got stuck in there and nobody knew about them too. But yeah, I
think the Binar would be cool to see in Strange New Worlds. Actually, I'd love to see. I like that they have like Bolians on there now. Just throw some Binar in the background.
That would be cool. That was like wow. People just get dusted there.
Yeah, some of these explosions were kind of I don't know, they're kind of grim. They they're kind of setting up this whoever is in this ship, probably Badgie, but they're a force to be reckoned with. So I guess that'll be our through line for season 4. And also they're handing out a promotion to someone. So one of these characters is going to become a lieutenant. I mean, I know Boimler was already a lieutenant and then got bumped back down to ensign when he had to leave the Titan.
It'll probably
and
be
come back to
T'Lyn.
the Cerritos. She has like a Maquis, like on Voyager, like how like the Maquis had like that different provisional thing, and I assume...
Oh, that's right. She's not really. Yeah, that's kind of how the guy just like, you're going to this ship. Goodbye.
Yeah, she's like on loan from the Vulcan science probing agency, whatever they're called, like Vulcan NASA, but
Vulcan NASA.
She has like the provisional Rink Pip thing, and I think that's probably what they're going to have in Prodigy whenever we see those kids again. # save Star Trek Prodigy. When that show does find a home, now that they're acting warrant officers on Janeway's new ship, probably the Voyager A, I think they're going to have the same thing for them. But yeah, she's joking around to Boimler, making fun of how bad he's going to smell for holodeck cleanup duty, which we saw Mariner do in season 1. Aaron and I can't figure out this species. They look super familiar, but every
Anybody know
time
who
we
they are? Put
every
in
time
chat.
we look up like a Star Trek alien that had like some type of markings on their foreheads like this, it's always like different like it's not the
Yeah.
Wadi from Move Along Home, it's not the people from what's his name, Tinaman, whatever,
Yeah, with the where they killed
Magel's boyfriend from Half a
yeah.
Life.
Half a
They're
Life.
like
Yeah,
Michelle Forbes played his
that was
daughter
her.
before she was
'Cause
Ro.
and the clothes look very similar to this woman on the left. Like, but she had that weird like bone hair and Timison. Yeah, that was his name.
It's the best
But yeah.
Loxana Troy episode ever, in my opinion.
I think so. Well, that or the one with Odo. That was pretty good too.
Yeah, a lot of people like that one.
This I
Yeah.
don't know what's happening there.
Kayshawn is back. They're forming a human pyramid. I think they're under like a lot of duress because like see like the bags under their
Yeah.
eyes and stuff. That's how they looked in Temporal Edicts when they were like having to work around the clock,
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're what's going on there, why they're stripped down to their underwear and stacking on top of each other, but I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation in context.
Reasonable.
Oh, this is a funny joke about Rutherford and Tindy joking around about how they finish each other. Instead of sentences, he says something about like, some type of equations or something.
Yeah.
What was funny about that is like they're laughing so hard at their dumb joke, in the shot after that, you see them like kicking their feet under the shuttle as like they're laughing. So it's, yeah, but Boimler doing the waste extraction and Ransom letting them know like, yeah,
Hey,
we're
we can
handing out a
see the,
promotion, gonna be someone.
The California class pin or like seal behind her,
Yeah,
which
it's
is a
the California
pin
flag
at SDCC. Yeah.
Oh, they're handing this out. And that's awesome because they did
That
that
was-
in
I think that
in
was on
California,
Thursday.
So okay,
It was
cool.
Thursday or Friday. It was. I think it's been handed out already, unless they're doing it now.
Is that also on eBay for $150?
Yeah, I haven't. No, I only saw that one, and I haven't seen any since. I'm like, I don't know if it's like, I don't think they can take it down. I don't think like CBS can be like, no, you can't sell this. So I don't know. It's very strange.
I am excited about there being promotions because they can't stay ensigns forever, and that's always been my concern with Lower Decks. Is like I don't want it to, I want these characters to be able to develop and grow, and it bothers me with Harry Kim. It bothers me with Travis Mayweather and Hoshi Sato, and why are these people like staying ensigns for?
That's what Jesse and I were like worried about, but we were happy at least that their characters seem to be developing. It was
that
they weren't static. There's a little bit of a backtrack at times, but at least they're steadily moving forward. It feels like. And
Lower Decks itself has only taken place over like all 3 seasons have been less than 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
Because both season 2 and season 3 are both in the year 20. I know some people get bored and check out when I start talking about years and star dates and stuff, but for those who care, it's 2381. Season 1 is 2380. Seasons 2 and 3 are both 81. So season 1 is a year after Nemesis, and then seasons 2 and 3 are like a year after that. So I don't know if 4 is also an 81 or if it's finally like moved to 82. Strange New Worlds is doing something similar. Both season 1 and season 2 of Strange New Worlds both take place in the year 2259. So I guess they don't want to like run into the original series too soon, which is probably smart. That's a bit more conservative way to approach it. But a volcano is exploding, so Gene Roddenberry would be excited about that, right?
That's true. Made me think about that. Yes, he loved his volcanoes.
Yeah, that was Aaron. You. I only know this because I learned it from you, but that was something. Whenever he was trying to pitch the animated series to people, he's like, and it'll be animation, so we could do things we wouldn't have the budget for in live action, like show volcanoes and lava.
Yeah, he loved the lava. That and he would be like aliens that you've never seen, and then end with like and volcanoes and lava. I guess I mean, kind of like thinking back at TOS, they sort of did, like they tried to do that. I think.
Boimler ain't loving it by this screenshot.
No.
I like the planet though. Yeah, look how alien. That's very like almost like the flowers that Spock smiles at in the cage. It has kind of a TOS style to it. Yeah. Speaking of like the beauty of animation, like it is cool how, and even like the AR wall in Discovery and Strange New Worlds, like they can just like the variety of things you can depict these days. The old days, like people had to like physically construct all of this everything. You know, it had to physically exist in real life in order for like the camera to photograph it. And so it
I
is
think
cool
they use
that,
the AR wall in the crossover too, right? That one
yeah, they definitely do.
planet side.
Yeah, that had to be what they were doing there. So, Ferenginar, we get a lot of Ferengi stuff. There's like
Yeah.
I don't know, like, does Rutherford
Is the-
and Tindy, do they get like married on
I know
Ferenginar?
that. That's what it looks like. There's Love's Lodge or something like that, or
Yeah, it's like,
Loeb's Lodge. I don't know, something Lodge.
is going to Ferenginar like going to Vegas? Like, do a lot of people get hitched there?
Oh, that's interesting. Like, what are they wearing? They're wearing like these gray kind of like cloak type things.
Yeah, but it's Starfleet issue because it has their division colors.
Oh yeah, no. Oh
So
yeah, it does.
I think they get ponchos because Ferenginar it rains all the
Oh, 'cause it
time.
rains so much that
So
makes
I think
sense,
they're just
yeah.
wearing like ponchos they brought from the Cerritos.
The bellhops.
Yeah, they got like these 20th century looking Ferengi bellhops that are like pushing them towards each other. And this guy's like shooting confetti out of a
At first I
Ferengi
thought it was
shotgun.
Vicks or something. I was like, nope, it's not.
Yeah, so I don't. There's like they're celebrating these. I'm an advocate of like Rutherford and Tindy becoming an item. I guess I ship them. I'm a Rutherford Tindy shipper. I don't. Tindaford, I think it is the ship name for them. Tinderford. I've heard that before. That's definitely a thing I didn't make up right now. I've totally heard that. I don't like that one as much, but it works. I'm excited about Ferenginar, and there's another shot that we'll talk about in a minute, that some DS9 familiar faces, but I'm also excited about Orion. We're actually going to go to the Orion homeworld, something that Star Trek has never done before.
With their club.
You know, one of the oldest Star Trek races. They're like the fourth Star Trek race, because you got to figure like the first is... I don't know. I guess humans are the first, but then like Vulcans, Telosians, and then Orions all appear in the cage.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, this looks fun.
I love the T'Lyn, or is that her name? Wait, yes.
T'Lyn is the Vulcan, yeah.
Yeah, dressed in just like just like this blank stare on her face.
Yeah, she's not happy to be in the Orion Club. Tindy's not happy to be, Tindy.
Yeah.
We know about like her issues with, her people
Right.
and the cultural stereotypes and all that. Mariner looks like
But
she's really
Meredith's
into it.
Very excited, yeah.
And I don't know about like this mean
Ursula?
oh yeah, she totally looks like Ursula from the Little. It's the makeup and the hair. Yeah, totally. They were thinking of the Little Mermaid when they designed her character, but that's okay. But they've got like some like Orions like to sexualize people, both boys and girls, as they got like some Orion slave boys in the background, I guess, and Mariner's reaction to being stabbed, like, oh yeah, it's no big deal. It's just a part of the
They have the
part of
stab
the
jar.
ambiance. Yeah, because it happens all the time on Orion.
Yeah.
You'd think there'd be more green blood in there. I assume Orions have green blood.
Maybe not. Maybe that's a stereotype.
They have green liquor.
Yes.
There's shots of something green.
We might might know what that is.
Yes,
actually.
yeah, they have Orion liquor in the crossover episode. So I would love if they like mention it and it's like called the same stuff. Because I mean,
Yeah,
like all these
they might.
the
Don't see
lower
why
decks
not.
people worked on that too. So
Right.
they all were talking to each other. So and they
Jill's
reference
like,
it.
TOS is a double meaning. I just got that. Yes, TOS.
Yes, yeah, that was a joke from the season 1 finale, No Small Parts, when they go to Beta 3, and they're like, "Why are you people worshiping Landru anymore? Didn't they this all get sorted with Kirk and Spock?" And then Ransom calls it, "Yeah, I love those old scientists." So I call that the TOS era.
Yeah, because he sees the TOS, and I think the captain asked, like, why do you call it TOS?
Yeah,
Or something like that, yeah.
yeah. It was either Freeman or Mariner that asked him to explain.
When we get the picture of Kirk and Spock, which are done in the animated series look and feel.
Yeah, there's something that when I talk about that with Dave Monday, something I'm going to bring up about the crossover episode, but I kind of wish that they did something TAS style in it.
Oh, at the yeah.
Yeah.
I was hoping to, but oh well.
But I like what they did. But
Yeah.
what the hell is this Pokemon thing? That like,
I keep expecting it's something that Rocktar would like like a cutesy little from Prodigy.
it's
something
terrible.
that she would
Rock Talk.
Rock Talk, sorry, the Rocktar. Where did that come from? Where she would like be like, "Oh, it's so cute," and then it would like try and eat her.
Yeah, I don't know if it would be able to take down a Brakar, but it takes down whatever the
Yeah.
hell this thing is. Look at this poor bastard is terrified, hiding behind this tree. Like,
He's already terrifying looking. It's like
but yeah, that's interesting. It gets a holy fuck from Mariner, and I mean they edit it to make it look like she's reacting to this. I don't know if that's actually what she was looking at. But...
Well, that is like it's in the same. It looks like a museum or something because if you look at this next shot, they.
I took some of this stuff out of order. But...
Oh, okay. The people that are behind
the wide
there.
shot behind. Okay, yeah, I don't have it.
Do you have that?
No, but you're talking about. It was from
Where you?
Unnatural Selection.
Oh yeah. So I didn't know where you're like. Yes, they're behind there. It's like the kids in their like weird jumpsuit or whatever that Dr. Pulaski ended up getting like what their super immune system became weaponized essentially, and so she got sick.
Yeah,
there it is. But they have like off to the right. It looks like some sort of museum or maybe like a menagerie, as it has like these these two people.
Yeah,
it's like almost like a Noah's Ark
humans.
kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's like here's a little like explanation thing.
Yeah,
but and we see that we see that here. There's one on the left side. Well, yeah, whatever's going on there. But here's some shots of them like arriving on Ferenginar.
That's cool.
Like it's rainy and like I like they're excited. They're like, oh cool, we're gonna go to
I like
Ferenginar.
the effect on the glass of the cockpit.
Yeah,
too.
Animation.
That sort of like rolling, ripple look.
Yeah, continues to look great. Something that Star Trek is kind of all people joke about, like older Star Trek, call it like kind of like low budget and stuff. But really, like if you take every Star Trek show for the era in which it was made, even the animated series, it's all very like high budget television for its
for
time.
what it is. Yeah.
Like
Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, go watch like the other like sci-fi shows that were on in the '90s. Like the special effects do not look as good as TNG and DS9 and Voyager.
Yeah. Well, even like with TAS, it's not Disney, and they actually point that out. But it's also not plausible to use that sort of a budget for a television program.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of like, okay, we're doing the best we can. But the backgrounds at the time, they got a lot of actual praise in sort of animation magazines and entertainment. That people are like, oh wow, these backgrounds are great, and the character models, because they did look like them, like better than a lot of cartoons that have like live action people.
Yeah, compare the animated series to like any weekly Saturday morning cartoon in 1973 that's not made by Warner Brothers or Disney, and you're like, oh,
a lot less racism too, and sexism and all that.
A lot of that stuff did not age well.
Yeah.
There's a shot of like Tindy yelling at Rutherford, like we're going to be friends no matter what. So I don't know if that's like a
ramrod. Yeah, that's weird.
I don't know if that ties in though to like, oh, like. Is that about? Does that have to do with like the romantic thing with them? And like, no, like we can't become romantically involved. We're just going to be friends, or is it like is something trying to like tear them apart, tear their friendship apart? And she's like saying like, no, we got to stick together and continue to be friends. I don't know, but she's fired up about something. Something is threatening their friendship.
Yeah.
The Troy and Crusher, I don't know, what are they even doing in that episode? Are they doing aerobics? Are they doing yoga? Like
stretching maybe?
Yeah, they're just doing like these weird like stretch moves. The funniest thing I ever saw in my life, Aaron, was on the Star Trek cruise at one of the parties one night. I was like on the dance floor and I turn to my left or my right and I see two women wearing these get-ups, and they're doing like together, like in unison, like they synchronize, like they clearly practiced, but they're doing like the like stretch moves.
Oh wow!
That we saw like Beverly and Indiana doing. So that I guess we're about to see Ransom and Shax do.
Very weird.
Yeah.
And then we have the ambo jitsu stuff, like the helmet and stuff in the background.
Yeah. You think it would make more sense for them to be doing that, but like no, they went for the funny option. So, which Lower Decks is a comedy.
So Shax is Beverly Crusher.
Beverly had the green D. I think that's right. The ship that they find, I guess we're on Orion in the shot, but the ship they find crashed here, I think that's the same as the Raven, is like Seven of
Yep.
Nine's parents.
Hmm.
So I don't know if that was ever given like an official class. I think we just call it a Raven type
It
starship.
was Ares or something like
Oh,
that. I
it
put
has
it
a
in
name.
their chat before. Yeah, like at least in beta canon it does. So maybe it doesn't in alpha canon, but
But cool design. Glad to see them reusing that. Badgie, seen in the trailer here, Mariner trying to fight him, but he's a hologram and I guess is impervious to being kicked. But they don't show much of Badgie, so they're just letting us know, like, hey, Badgie is
yeah.
here. He's still an asshole. Uh, maybe he's not the big bad. Maybe like they just want us to think that, and he's
Oh no,
actually going to be usurped by something worse.
it's gonna be Amanda Plummer.
I mean, the thing with, whenever you have like these super villain team ups, like Agamus and Badgie, probably Peanut Hamper will probably be in the mix too. Uh,
Somewhere.
they're kind of easy to like to divide and conquer because at the end of the day, like they all kind of just care about themselves. So maybe Badgie does get replaced and someone else becomes the big bad, or maybe it's him. I don't know. Tindy is ready for some action with the cool T-80 tricorders that have the purple stripe. It's a fun thing in the Star Trek Prodigy video game I was playing, but Star Trek Prodigy Supernova, you can find little unlockable items, these little Easter eggs in the game, and there's like they add something from like every Star Trek show, and the thing they add for Lower Decks is these cool
The
scanners with the purple stripe.
they do remind me of like scanners at a store, like a grocery store,
Yeah, I don't see
or
what's so
or
exciting about them, but
the what are the thing that you do inventory with?
yeah.
You could walk around in the back or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like a barcode scanner, but I don't know. They're really cool. Apparently, they've serve on a Parliament class starship. You have access to them.
They probably just work really well.
This made me laugh out loud when Boimler's talking about like we've served together for a long time. I trust you. I guess they have like a grappler from Star Trek Enterprise. They're trying to grapple instead of a tractor beam. So it's like okay, like I trust you. Like you're gonna grapple this apple out. That's funny to say out loud right there. You're gonna grapple this apple out of my hand. I trust you.
I'm sure that's part of the joke.
And it's so fucking inaccurate. Not only does he not hit the apple, but he hits Tindy, who's like standing in safety over here.
Yeah. And I just love Mariner's look is just like, yep, yeah, I expected that to happen.
I was like, Boimler, you're totally safe to do this, not because Rutherford is going to be so accurate, but because he's going to be so inaccurate, he's not even going to be able to get it anywhere close to you.
This is funny.
Who are these people?
I don't know. I'm wondering, is that what's his face? The
It's
engineer's
not,
mom?
It's not
It's not.
Phillips's mom because she was
Okay.
blonde.
Is this some sort of like a bridesmaid party kind of thing, or a hen party or whatever, or something?
Oh
Somebody
yeah,
getting married, maybe?
could be.
Like, it's Romulan ale o'clock somewhere.
Is this like does Freeman get a makeover? Like that doesn't really like look like her, but I don't. Maybe like if they change like her hair or like makeup or something.
Yeah, I
don't know.
think
Maybe-
if she's dressed up to be fancy or something, probably.
and this cap doesn't really go with like the
No.
formal wear. So
Well, that's why it feels like kind of like a bridesmaid party. That's if like some goofy thing that
okay,
I don't know. But that's just
but then
a
like,
wild guess.
is she getting married? I mean, she has a husband.
Yeah. But I mean, it could be for somebody else's. I mean, like somebody else getting
Oh
married.
yeah, yeah. So
Like, oh, I'm gonna have the party here on the Cerritos for you. That was a mistake or something.
not sure what exactly is happening there.
Because the woman in red looks like she's the more like standout character, visually at least.
Yeah, kind of everyone's looking at her.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Boimler has the thing that you have to put on if you look at a Medusan. I think he's trying to avoid like this. I don't know if this is like Badgie on the attack. Like the Texas class starships that had the Badgie AI running them, they would they would like light up red like this before they attacked. So it could be like Badgie's ship. I don't know why he'd be wearing that though. Maybe there's a Wouldn't it be cool if there's like Medusans here? Like
That would be cool.
They've been fleshed out a little bit in Prodigy. If we see like that cool Medusan ship that they took from the animated, from the original series remastered.
Yeah. That would be fun.
Aaron, you
This
were
is cool.
excited about this, the ring world, or like
Yes. Which I tweeted. I said like, if we have a ring world, we have to have Kazinti in this episode. And Brad was like, it's like, oh, it's just a mega structure that's a ring. It's like it's not a ring world. I'm like, that's the same thing.
that's the same thing.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a joke. I think that's probably what he meant. It was like, oh, okay. So
Like, you could call it a Halo too. That's
Yeah.
also streaming on Paramount Plus. But they did like an entire
Oh,
season
that's
before
interesting.
they've even found the Halo from the. There's an environment like this in the video games, but the show like they haven't gotten to it yet. But
but it's cool.
yeah,
It's everything's blurry, but it's like it's clearly a big ring environment.
they did one on Star Wars recently, and
I
like
heard
the,
that. I haven't.
the
not seen it.
Mandalorian visited a ring thing. But I guess this is where they go and find the menagerie place, because, or at least like the way that they edit this together,
Oh,
like
that makes sense.
yeah, Ransom is like, slow down, you're gonna crash the shuttle, but it looks like, yeah, it's the same shuttle, it's the Yosemite 2,
And
so,
it's that probably because the way they fly in, it's like going into a ring world, like to have that parking there, that would have
Right.
to be really interesting flying to like basically
Yeah, like,
you're flying into the ground. it
to
feels like.
find like the right vector to approach
Yeah.
would, yeah, they could do something interesting with that. But she's wearing those workout clothes earlier when she sees
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it a Pokemon because I don't know what it's called, but when she
But it
sees
looks
the
like-
Pokemon eat the other Pokemon,
Maybe the
she's-
ring world's sort of like a museum or of cultures or something like that.
yeah, like every part of it's like a little different, like a different
Yeah.
environment.
That would make sense. I mean, you could put a lot of space or a lot of biodiversity in a space like that.
That could be where the volcano is too, because like that's kind of
Oh,
like
yeah.
a volcano island in the middle. So
Yeah.
maybe that's where Boimler is dealing with that volcano.
That would be weird to have a volcano on a ring world though. Like where are you gonna get the
Oh yeah, like where would the lava? Like there'd be
Yeah.
no Earth's core.
Yes, there's no
Yeah, what's like
tectonic
heating up
plates or
the rocks
yeah.
down there? Yeah,
that would be a bad thing actually. Yay.
this was
we have-
exciting to me. I assume
Yeah.
this is Rom, because he's got the Negus staff, and he's got
It looks
Lita.
like he's doing baseball, like some sort of
Oh yeah, what if he's like, yeah, try well. Wasn't
I mean,
think
this way
he was-
it looks like he's hitting a bat. Basically, he's acting like that with the thing.
I think he was left-handed in Take Me Out to the Hollow Suite, but it was
Oh, okay.
it was whatever. Because Max Grudenchik was actually like a really good ball player, like,
Right, and he had to pretend to not be basically.
Yeah, so he had, if he's left-handed, he was doing it all right-handed, or if he's right-handed, he did it all left. But he did whatever, like, because like he couldn't, like his mechanics are so like ingrained in it, like he couldn't like,
Yeah.
throw a baseball and make it look like he didn't know how to throw a baseball. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm happy to see Lita. I have people who know me know I grew up with a massive crush on Chase Masterson. I think she's an extraordinarily sweet person in real life. I am very much looking forward to the return of Lita. Whatever the species that May Herdu was, the Negus's bodyguard, looks like Rom has a lady bodyguard. So that's like, I love that for Rom. He was like always about like the getting rid of like I guess the patriarchy in Ferengi culture. So
Yeah. Is that the race that had the Quark 2000 or whatever that we saw last year? Those people.
the Karama? No, this is
Karama, yeah.
they're
Oh,
a
okay.
different. They were part of the Dominion. Yeah, I think this is like the Negus had this huge bodyguard dude named
Oh, he looked like that.
May Herdu. Yeah, and like he was kind of like Mr. Holmes, Luoxana's
Yeah.
bodyguard. Like he never spoke.
Okay.
But he's not the same species as Mr. Holmes. He looked like this tall
Okay.
person. So
That's cool.
But yeah, I like Ferenginar, it wasn't like a planet that was high up on my list of like, what places do I want to return to in Star Trek soon. But the way that they're showing us, like Rom and Lita, and the way that it looks like they're doing something with Tindy and Rutherford, I'm now like really excited for the Ferenginar episode.
Yeah.
It's one of the things I'm most excited about in season 4.
Looks like somebody has like a gold, like a admiral stripe or something, like the guy on the right.
That's a
Some sort
great
of-
catch. Yeah, this is probably an admiral, so that's interesting. I didn't even see
Is
that.
her husband an admiral? No. Wait.
Yeah, Freeman's
Yeah.
husband. Yeah,
Maybe it's him.
Admiral Freeman.
I'd like to see
voiced
them
by,
together at some point, like the
yeah,
whole
he's-
family.
He's always just kind of a face on a view screen. But
Yeah.
we saw him and Mariner together for a little bit.
Right. When she was wrecking his place.
Yeah, she was like breaking plants or
yeah, and screens.
breaking screens. Yeah. Orion pirates look more piratey.
Like, literally piratey. Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't know that they had like bandanas and swashbuckling swords and swung around like Tarzan. But that's cool.
Maybe it's just a joke or something like that.
Yeah, maybe they just started like dressing up like this when they found out about like
That's what humans expect us to look like. You know?
They're just big fans of like Disney's Pirate of the Caribbean movies.
Or Planet. What is it? Treasure Planet.
What's going on with like the Raven though? Like we're whatever
They got it
the
working
name of the
again.
ship is, but yes, that had to have been on Orion because then like the way that they edit this here makes it look like it's all this is happening on like the same planet.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so
it's hard to tell, like to try and guess what belongs with what sometimes.
Yeah,
but I think it seems like what you're saying matches. It seems like at least by what we can see.
Yeah, because they had like their Orion
there she's got the
outfits
sword
on earlier. So
yeah.
This must be like when they first arrive. They meet these pirates. They probably like steal all their shit and everything, and then they have to like dress up like this to get it back. I don't know. I'm looking like as much as I'm looking forward to Ferenginar, I'm also like really looking forward to Orion.
Yeah.
And I guess some of the viruses from Macrocosm didn't get removed from the Voyager, so I think they're in like the Voyager museum. Yeah,
yeah.
So they're at the Fleet Museum.
Yeah,
because we know that's where Voyager is, thanks to Picard.
Maybe we'll actually see Geordi. Wait, this is before that happens though, but that could be cool.
It could be like around the time that Geordi, because this is after Nemesis, so maybe this is like when Geordi like takes over the museum.
That could be.
That would be a fun way to tie in LeVar Burton and have a cameo from him, but
I love the Tom Paris like dummy
mannequin,
over in the corner.
Yeah,
a mannequin, yeah.
Boimler sitting next to like, I got a plate signed by this guy.
It came out from behind that panel. It looks like
and I think this guy he's like a Rigelian.
Yeah, I've seen him or not.
Yeah, there was
but...
one of his species when Mariner's friend had to come be the substitute captain in season 1.
Oh right, yeah.
One of her staff members was the species. I think it's a Rigelian. There's like 3 different types of Rigelians. The star system doesn't make a ton of sense, but yeah, I like I actually like that episode Macrocosm. I know it gets like
I do.
It's kind of a schlocky action movie, but it's like a good version of that.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it's like Alien, but like Alien wasn't exactly unique.
Yeah, it was just like the best version of it.
Yeah.
Compared to anything before 1979. Right. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun to see Janeway go Ripley.
I don't know if this is the same episode because the goop that was in another scene earlier when people were standing around. It was like Shax and Deadman, I think. Not Deadman. What is the Jack?
Oh, Ransom.
This is the problem because our improvised Star Trek show had Jack Deadman, who was basically Jack Ransom. We had a female black captain whose daughter was on the ship. I mean, there's so many things that are similar. Like, and I will mix their names up just because I've got so used to like the other names of our characters.
Well, it's hard enough, just like the stuff that's actually in canonical Star Trek, like keeping it all straight. Like it's
like
weird.
Jack Deadman, Jack Ransom. Like, please, did it have to be that close?
They don't mind like reusing names. All that, like
right.
they literally like introduced a character named Jet Reno on Discovery within a year of introducing within a year and a half. They introduced a character on Lower Decks also named Jet.
So. Yeah, I remember that. And they also had what was it? Ensign. That was the last name was the same as I cannot remember her name. The extra from TNG who's in a lot of
Gomez.
No. Sorry, J, Lieutenant J.
Oh yeah.
They have a Lieutenant J, but it was spelled differently. So it's like, yeah, they kind of do that.
Tracy Coco, right?
Tracy Coco, yes, thank you. Hopefully she's not watching because she's like, why did you not remember my name?
Oh yeah, there's slime here. So this is also
Yeah.
in this is in the Voyager bridge also. That's
Oh, right.
Voyager's
Yeah.
view screen.
Yep. So
And
whatever they did,
the
they
stuff
were
here,
successful. It looks like.
yeah, the stuff at the end. So they saved the Voyager museum ship. So that's good to know. I mean, we know that they save it because we see it. It's still around in Star Trek Picard season 3. But
Right.
in this shot, Mariner has like the funny line referencing the episode of Star Trek that came out today, when she says, "This is nothing compared to that Pike thing we're not supposed to talk about." So, if you've
That's cool
watched
that
those
we
old
get those
scientists,
references. Yeah.
it's fun that like that and this like it all came out today. It's like a really cool
Yeah.
synchronicity, which we don't always have in Star Trek.
Yeah. Yeah. This was a very good time for that trailer to come out. Oh, and then we get this at the end. Yay.
Another thing that I don't mind Move Along Home.
I never hated that. I was like, it was goofy, but
I
like,
think some people
it's
just
an interesting way of first contact. It's like, oh, they play
yeah.
games. It's like, hi, we play D&D.
Some people are highly allergic to like feeling awkward. They don't like to they don't like when things make them feel awkward. They don't like to see
Yeah.
something that's awkward. They don't like to see something like, oh, like that person must be embarrassed. I think it's just like when they see, all these grown ass people skipping around, going a la Moraine, count to 4. I think that just
At the end, I always remember that Kira has her like tricorder thing like this. So she has this weird thing with her.
yes.
Like,
But I love that sequence because like
Yeah.
Nana Visitor plays it like so like she is miserable having to do
Yes.
that. And I think
and
that's
what's
why
cool
people
is that the audio landscape of it is really cool too, because as they come to the middle, you hear that person more. It's sort of like you get Cisco, you get Dax, you hear their little sliver of how they're saying the thing.
when they get closer to the boom
Sound
mic.
design. Yeah, exactly.
Uh, but I also like that like Avery Brooks played it. Like he wasn't as
Yeah.
reluctant because it's like, oh yeah, he's the dude with a kid. Like he's a parent.
Right.
He's used to having to do like goofy, silly things like that all the
That's true.
time.
And he was
I
much
don't
younger
know.
then.
Yeah, it felt like a fun like character.
Yeah.
Like seeing like everyone's like either like their reluctance or their acceptance of like having to do that. I thought was interesting. But I just feel like so many people like watch that and they're like, oh my god, this is so like stupid, and it just like it makes them hate the episode. But
Well, he's carrying around the wedding box.
yeah, it's
from...
Armin Shimmerman's face from it's not The Gift. What's the name of that episode?
I don't remember. It's season 1, right? Like early.
Or it might
It's
be
the
The
first-
Gift.
It's the first time we see Armin Shimmerman, I think.
Yeah, before he was a Ferengi in The Last Outpost.
Even though it was recorded afterwards or something. It was just like, but yeah.
No, The Gift is a Voyager episode. I cannot think of.
I wonder if it's because if this is related to the wedding thing that we saw, or like the engagement or whatever.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe this has to do with the Ferenginar thing, like Tindy and Rutherford. Maybe it's like a. But it's a Betazoid tradition.
Or it's related to the other thing that looked like kind of like what I was saying. It was like maybe a bridesmaid party. I don't know. It's Romulan at 8 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah. So if that's a bachelorette party, then if someone's getting married, that would explain the gift box. Haven was the name of the episode.
Oh yeah, I was just like I just found it.
And then
Betazoid gift box.
we there's also one of these. I think you spotted one in Keishon His Eyes Open in the massive collector's collection.
Everything was in there. There's still one thing that we don't know what it is, but it's gonna drive me crazy.
It's like the orange barrel that Mike McMahon says he'll never tell.
My
anyone.
guess is that it isn't anything, and that they just put it there to drive us crazy. It looks like it should be something.
That's a very trollish move, and everyone in the chat's telling me that the episode is Haven now. That I couldn't remember. But yeah, that was our Lower Deck season 4 trailer. September 7th, so coming up very, very soon.
I can't believe how soon. Yeah.
So just to put things in perspective, we have Strange New Worlds.
September 8th.
That's a Friday, the actual 50th.
Oh, that's cool. That's nice.
Yeah. So
Got a whole big weekend planned or something. Do party.
We had a surprise episode of Strange New Worlds today. Then Strange New Worlds Season 2, Episode 8, Under the Cloak of War, I believe is the name. That something about the Cloak of War. That
Yep.
comes out Thursday like normal. And then the Subspace Rhapsody that we're about to talk about, that'll be out August 3rd. Then the season finale is August 10th. So that leaves what? Then there's 17, 24, 31. Then there's going to be a 4-week gap between Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks, which is exciting for me because that means there's time to do we can do a Tex-Trek podcast on all of Strange New Worlds Season 2, and then we can do a top whatever things we want to see in Lower Decks Season 4. There's so many shows to keep. It's like,
I know. I was like, what season is this?
That's 5 for Discovery, 2 for Strange New Worlds, 4 for Lower Decks. But that's, I guess, part of the fun of having so many Star Trek shows. Did you have anything else on Lower Decks before we change to?
No,
Strange New Worlds?
we got a heck of a lot out of like a very short trailer. So
okay, and I know that you said you might be limited on time, so if you need to bounce.
okay, yeah, I think like in the next 15-20 minutes, I probably should take off after that.
But yeah, the last thing that I have on my list is the Strange New Worlds musical trailer, Subspace Rhapsody, which I'll be honest, I wasn't sure if I would be able to get on board with this or not, but like I don't know, the trailer is so fun, it kind of has me excited for it now.
And I'm the exact reverse. I was like, oh, I love musical episodes and stuff like that. I'm just like, I don't think Star Trek needs to have musical episodes. It's like, I don't know. I'm gonna obviously reserve judgment until I see it. But I also have this weird thing. It's like I've never liked an a cappella version of Star Trek where they start doing it, and I'm just like, and that's what this starts with. So that just set it off wrong. But you know that whatever it is that causes them to be able to sing and have a coordinated dance, that it's going to be some sort of space anomaly or something. It's either going to be cliche or dumb or both. That's the problem. It's like there's no like, oh, that's an interesting idea of how that happened. I hope. I mean, it'd be nice if it's actually something, and it makes sense in like Buffy and the Magicians and Once Upon a Time, like all those things that like, okay, they have fantasy elements to it. That's kind of fun. Or it's a dream sequence on a show that completely doesn't have anything to do with. I kind of feel like this is The Expanse having a musical episode. Like, no, that would not happen.
I will defend the concept in that Star Trek does have a tradition of doing audacious things. Going to a planet where your futuristic people are forced to behave like they're in an old Western, and they have to reenact the gunfight of the OK Corral or something. It's like a little, like it's a little weird. It's like a little
That's
like
TOS though. I mean, we're talking like 2023. Like, you don't have to do it exactly like the old shows.
Sure, but like I don't mind their.
But like Bride of
Star Trek
Chaotica and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I mean, there are
like
those goofy things. So yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it's okay for Star Trek to go audacious at times.
I think the reason for me also that just like we just finished watching the crossover episode for Lower Decks and Strange New Worlds, which is already goofy, and then this comes along and you can like Pike's doing like just it's like, does every other episode have to be like a very special episode of Strange New Worlds? Like, can we just get some regular Star Trek episodes?
Yeah, it feels like they really like to pivot back and forth between like really grim and serious, and then like really like lighthearted and silly.
Yeah, it is a lot of tonal shift.
It's a bit of like a bipolar experience, but I'm strangely like okay with that because I feel like DS9 did that a lot too.
That's
true. They would do like, here's like In the Pale Moonlight, and it's and then
I wish like
after
Battlestar
that,
Galactica reboot had done that. Like, all it was just dire all the time.
They never had like a goofy Ferengi episode, like, oh, what wacky shit is Quark's family gonna start? It's like, oh, here's another Spock family sitcom episode. So But yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
this episode, Subspace Rhapsody, it's going to be sandwiched in between Under the Cloak of War and Hegemony. We know like Hegemony is probably going to be like a Gorn
The Gorn
episode.
everybody dies episode.
Yeah, it's gonna be that's gonna like the Gorn like obliterate the Federation or something. They're gonna be
enjoy
like,
the last time you're going to be happy. With
it'll be
this
something
episode.
monstrous. So
Yeah.
yeah, so definitely different from whatever we're getting here. But you know, the trailer doesn't give too much.
It all looks very. It looks. I love the graphic design. If you go back to the presents, like that has that very 1960s. Like even like the little stars. Like I don't know. The graphic design of that I think is really cool.
Buffy did that too. The once more with feeling episode of Buffy, which just to be clear, every musical episode of a TV show, it's like everyone who does one now, they're all like looking back at like what did they do on Buffy back in 2001 or whatever. That
funny story about that actually.
It was 2001. I remember it was when Buffy moved to UPN. Yep. And when Star Trek Enterprise was on I remember watching the Andorian incident of Star Trek Enterprise back in 2001 and seeing like Jeffrey Combs as an Andorian, and then when it cut to no, it wasn't like Jeffrey Combs is like an Andorian on screen, and you know how like network television, I don't think they do it anymore, but they used to have like the little tickers pop up. They'd be like, oh, and like come back next week for like
the little person like
yeah, it was like the reveal of you know the Andorians, and then it was or like I guess like the first scene or like Jeffrey Combs with like a bunch of dialogue, and then this little ticker pops at the bottom of the screen. It's like next week, see Buffy the musical, and it has like I don't know, like a picture of like Buffy and Spike dancing or something like that. It's like
we had billboards all over LA, which is just weird.
Sure,
they don't really do that anymore, but yeah, no, my real quick my quick story was that. They didn't have a soundtrack for that when it first came out. It took a while for them to produce one. I don't know why. So basically, everybody made their own by cobbling the show together and burning it onto a CD back when you used to burn CDs. So I'm sitting in the parking lot of Tower Records in Marina Del Rey, listening to that while I was waiting for a friend, kind of like humming along, and the guy who plays Giles just walks by my open car window.
Anthony Stewart Head.
Anthony Stewart, yes. Just sort of like kind of just says like hello, and it was just like what just happened. It was just so weird. So that was fun. Anyway, sorry.
Dom Paris is asking if you've talked about your TAS stuff, and we talked about that at the top of the stream, Dom. If you go back and replay from the beginning, we talk all about the Friday San Diego Comic-Con stuff, which included their animation celebration panel and the IDW comic stuff, and the stuff Aaron worked on, including the 50th anniversary pin and the Starfleet Delta, the TAS style Starfleet Delta badge pin as well.
We actually asked them for the pin, which it turns out they didn't follow the directions. We weren't sure the production people would know how to do it, but we're like, we want the badge to be at an angle, but the pins to be straight up and down. So when you if you put the pins on straight up and down, it automatically puts it at an angle. They didn't do that. So you just have to kind of tilt it yourself.
Oh. They look cool though, and
they're fun. Yes,
they need to put it on StarTrek.com. Let people have access to it.
I'm gonna try and figure out if they're actually gonna do something more with them. I can't imagine they wouldn't eventually produce more, because people will buy it. So I like the engineering set that they've been using a little bit more often.
Yeah, but I think they have to go to the AR wall to shoot there, because it uses the AR wall. So we don't see engineering a ton in the show, because they actually have to go to. Because that's a different place in Toronto. They have to load up in the vans and drive to a different location to shoot there.
They could just have a stock background, like they would do in actual Star Trek, and then just close up on the people at a different angle and looking at a console or something.
The reason why they built that port galley set is because their mess hall set used the AR wall, and so they built the port galley.
That's right.
So
so they didn't have to keep going across town.
Yeah. I like the port galley, but it's like a little weird that there's I'm okay with there being jazz bands playing, because I just assume those are off-duty officers. Riker liked to play jazz when he was off-duty. But it's weird to me that there's a bartender and there's waiters on a
I thought that was
a 23rd century ship.
The last episode where they were or not the episode, when Spock was turned into a human, they asked for the food to go. And it was just sort of Did you, it just felt like they order it and have like a waiter give it to them, or like the person behind the counter, the cash register sort of thing. It felt very
Right.
weird.
Like in 10 Forward on TNG, I know that there's servers that work there, but I just
Yeah.
assumed those are people who they're either like married to someone who works on the Enterprise and they just wanted like a job to do, or they're people who are like, oh, I just want to like travel the galaxy. The Starfleet will, take me on the Enterprise if I, serve drinks 4 days a week or whatever. So I'm
Yeah,
just gonna sign up for that.
they talked about that once, about what they're technically like registered as or whatever. Like they're not part of Starfleet. I think some of them aren't.
Well,
At
we
least.
meet that dude in the episode Lower Decks in TNG season 7. We meet one of those Ben, I believe was his
Ben.
name.
Yep.
And they do state like he is a civilian, so he's definitely
Right.
like not in Starfleet, but
Yeah.
he could have a spouse on the Enterprise or
True.
something else. But yeah, like as far as what we know for the musical, the soundtrack will also release on August 3rd, and there's 10 original songs, which is a lot for a 1 hour episode. They're gonna be singing nonstop in this thing, so get ready. But
Or they're very short songs.
that could be too. Try to like cram more in there, but yeah, they get hit by a magic singing wave that's gonna make them sing. But there's a lot of like red shirts dancing in the corridors. This is the moment where it won me over, Aaron. But when the Enterprise danced with the D7, it just like, oh, like I'm such a Star Trek simp. But yes, I have to approve of this because I need to see the Enterprise dance with the D7.
Yeah, that seems like somebody from YouTube put that video together. That's I don't know. For me, it's just I'm gonna have to be won over. Let's put it that way. I won't begrudge anybody if they like it, but
and I'm still not sold on the entire concept myself. But I'm like, well, maybe if I'll dig some of the songs or something like.
Well, I'm hoping that it's like Buffy. Buffy wasn't just a goofy musical. A lot of story in that episode was told, and it advanced the plot. And it was without that episode, you wouldn't have the stuff that happened after it. So I'm hoping that this will at least do something like that. Maybe even it'll take care of Spock and Chapel's relationship, like it did with Buffy and Spike.
I think that's likely. I think that they might do something with the two of them. I mean, there's a lot of like Chapel singing, and maybe it's because Jez Bush is a good singer.
You get to see singing Kirk.
Kirk and La'an, like they're like in bed under covers, as in literally like undercovers, not undercover. But they kiss. So it's the first time she kissed this timeline's Kirk.
Yeah.
There's also Battelle is around, so I still think the Gorn are going to eat her.
So like, this is why I get to the last happy moment with
the last
them.
happy moment. But there's going to be a lot of Uhura singing because Celia Rose Gooding, like she loves to sing, so that's kind of the
and that
thing
fits
her.
well with Uhura from like Nichelle Nichols also with her singing.
Yeah,
so that's kind of cool.
That made me cry in the second episode of the show, Children of the Comet, when like she started when she like solved the problem by singing. Like I didn't know I needed like Uhura to sing as like the climax of an episode, but I did. But yeah, just the way that like the Buffy musical addressed like the Spike and Buffy stuff, I think we're totally getting. Look, we have Kirk dancing with number one in the corridor. Then like this thing. I just like how they throw themselves, like you have M'Benga, Uhura, Pike, La'an, Kirk. I don't know. They just the way like they're all into it. There's even Sam Kirk back there.
I think it's just seeing Pike just be that ridiculous is very weird. Yeah, like Joanne Rom says, like musicals can do a lot of character work. That's true. You can advance stuff that you wouldn't maybe. It wouldn't make a lot of sense. In dialogue would be more stilted or something. You can basically, that was the joke in the Supergirl musical. It's like, oh, things in musicals are a lot easier. And basically they could just like move the plot along.
And Dom Paris is pointing out that musical episodes are good to get really inside what characters are feeling. And I'm sure that's probably the approach that they are taking. I have seen like musical episodes of shows that like do not work. Like the one I was like really disappointed by, and I know some people like it, but like the Supergirl Flash crossover.
That's what I was just talking about. Yeah.
Like, but the the Buffy one was really good. Batman the Brave and the Bold did a really good
Oh
one.
yeah, I remember that with Zantana or with the or no, what was her name?
The music they like created a
Oh,
character,
that's
the
okay.
Music Meister, but he was played by, I think it was Neil Patrick Harris or like
Yeah,
someone big, who and like he can sing. He did
yeah.
that Doctor
Scrubs. That
Horrible.
was.
He did like the Doctor Horrible sing along blog thing.
Hmm.
Um,
So anyway,
there's a little bit of dialogue from Uhura where she says, "People celebrate with song," and then she also says, "Do you know the odds of all of us being here at this time? It's
that's in
improbable, and
every
yet here we
promo.
are." Yeah, that was in the season 2 trailer. Also,
The
had
trailer,
that.
yeah.
But yeah,
That's
I'm looking forward to it. There's
It looks like, reminds me of the W or the Warner Brothers, like the our
yeah, the thing
what is
that
it?
Porky Pig
Yeah.
pops out of it to say that.
I want to say
That's not all,
Tiny Toons, and
folks.
like that's not right. Yes.
But they had it on Tiny Toons also. Like
Yeah,
it
but
was
no, I
in
mean
the end
it's
credits.
Looney Tunes. That's what I was trying.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Yeah, I
remember
think it's
watching
just a
the.
Warner Brothers logo, right? Originally. Or
Oh, that
something
could be
like
where it came. Well, I hope that there's no one getting upset about.
Yeah, no,
about
I
this
don't
at
think
the
so.
Warner Brothers offices, but.
I wonder what
And
that music, if that the musical notes actually are doing, like the Star Trek theme or something.
oh, that'd be a cool Easter egg, like the Picard season 3 end
Yeah.
credits, which Dom Paris is here. I think he was the one who cracked the code on that. But yeah, it
Oh,
was
that's cool.
the Pop Goes the Weasel music, which must have been fun to like put that out because they're like someone will figure this out. But, um, but yeah, so I'm still really digging Strange New Worlds. I think that the musical episode will potentially be awesome. I kind of still need to see it myself because I have been disappointed with like when other shows have done this, but there's also been ones that I really loved. So I'm for sure looking forward to the rest of the season. Celia Rose Gooding also said on the Radio Room, I think last week, she said like, yeah, all my favorite stuff happens in like the back half of the season. And she says to Will Wheaton after that, she's like, I know what you're thinking, and like it's not even like that. When she says that, I think they're talking about the musical. There's something else in like these last few episodes that she must have been like really like gung ho about, whatever that is. So I don't know if it was the
Boimler and Mariner come back and they have a musical episode that and the time travel. No, they just mix all of them together and Spock becomes human again.
That is another awkward thing is that the Discovery actors, like, they really wanted to do a musical on Discovery. So I wonder if there's like
yeah, it makes sense because of Anthony Rapp and everybody.
yeah, they have like a lot of singers there too. So I don't know, it'd be interesting to like talk to them at like a convention in the future and be like, were you kind of butthurt that you didn't get to do the musical? I mean, I wouldn't word it like that, but I've seen there's kind of like those. I don't know. I just remember like the Voyager actors talking about how like they kind of felt like like kind of shoved off of the Paramount stages for like to make room for Enterprise, and like the DS9 actors talk about how like the Voyager actors how they had like better catering and better trailers than we had. But yeah, I wonder if there will be any like rivalries like that. Yeah, I'll say something else cool about the Ready Room, and then I think we're done unless Aaron has more stuff to say.
No, I've got to get going.
I'll close on like a pretty positive note, but on the Ready Room, Will Wheaton was talking to Jonathan Frakes because he directed the crossover episode, and one of the things that he also had Tawny Newsome and Jack Quaid, and they said like, oh, you guys, Johnny and Will, y'all are like so welcoming to all of us like new actors from like these newer shows, and those of us who remember, like there used to be like a lot of tension between like the original series actors and like the new show actors. There's kind of concern of like, oh, they're trying to replace us. They're trying to replace all of us original Star Trek guys. And eventually, all worked out. Everyone, there's room for all the shows. They all got along and everything. But I like the TNG actors. Like they didn't have like that same reaction to like this new era of shows. They seem to be like very welcoming to these new casts. So that's kind of cool to hear.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be doing the really fun coverage of what is it called? Those Old Scientists. The next 2 days. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. come back for the first reaction stream. And I'm dying to hear what you'll be there, right, Aaron?
Yes.
I'm dying to hear what you and Rachel and everyone else thinks about it. And then Monday,
Rachel and I watched it together, and then we talked for like 3 hours afterwards. So
well,
we
y'all
have
are
plenty
all
to say.
primed. Yeah, you
Yeah.
got your thoughts in order and then ready to go. And then Monday, Dave and I will have the deep dive discussion a little later than normal. That'll drop at 8 p.m. Central Time. And then we'll resume, the normal schedule Thursday and Friday with the Cloak of War episode, whatever that is. And then the finale, the musical and the finale, and that's it. But
Wow, is it that fast? No, you're
yeah,
right.
it's sad that this is my
Plowing through
favorite
these,
show. It's my favorite Star Trek show of the current shows. It's sad to see it, winding down. It's gonna be a long wait for season 3. There's
gonna be a long wait.
no Strange New Worlds next year. It'll have to wait till 2025, which is it sounds like forever, but it'll be here before we know it.
Well, the good thing is we'll have a breathing room. We can do like some sort of like retrospective podcasting and kind of just go back and like kind of take stock of everything that's happened in the last few years.
Yeah, there's like a lot of like legacy shows I want to. Like the only two that like we've totally covered on Tex-Trek would be like the animated series and Deep Space Nine. So there's still like 4 others that we haven't touched. So there's a lot to get around to, but.
Yep.
Yeah, but in the meantime, we have a lot of fun stuff. I'm looking forward to discussing it with all of y'all and hearing what people think. So be sure to leave comments, let us know what was your favorite part of San Diego Comic-Con 2023, and please come back tomorrow for that first reaction stream on Those Old Scientists, and then the deep dive discussion Monday. But until next time, as always, live long and prosper, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and take care. Bye.
Bye.